In the sterile hum of the operating room, as surgeons carved out my kidney for the woman I called Mom, my husband slipped through the recovery doors, not alone, but entwined with a stranger's arm in his, her smile a dagger to my fresh scar. He expected gratitude. I tasted betrayal's bile instead. Welcome back, my wonderful family and friends. I am Mr. Zaha. Thanks for tuning in today. A kind words from a man who has seen it all. Marriage are not mostly bed of roses. Sometime you need more of. More of what? Can't say. Continue watching, and you will surely know what to do in situations like this. Kindly hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. Tomorrow, I'll be bringing you another exciting story you definitely don't want to miss. So let's get started. The scent of chamomile tea lingered in the air of our suburban kitchen like a half-forgotten promise. Gentle, soothing, the kind Sarah insisted on brewing every afternoon since her diagnosis 2 years ago. Naomi Harper, soon to be hale again, if the papers on the counter meant anything, stirred the pot slowly, her reflection wavering in the steam rising from the stove. At 34, she still had the soft curves of the girl who'd married Nicholas in a backyard ceremony under string lights, but her eyes held the weariness of someone who'd traded dreams for dialysis schedules and whispered reassurances. Nicholas was late again. The clock above the sink ticked past 7 p.m., its hands mocking the empty chair at the breakfast nook where he'd once sketched blueprints for their future home on napkins stained with spaghetti sauce. That was before Hale construction boomed, before his hard hat gave way to corner office suits, before the late nights, closing deals stretched into dawns. She pretended not to notice. She poured the tea into Sarah's favorite mug, the one with faded daisies, chipped from a fall during one of her dizzy spells, and carried it down the hall to the guest room they'd converted into a makeshift recovery suite. Sarah Hale lay propped against a mountain of pillows, her silver hair fanned like a halo, oxygen tube snaking from her nose to the concentrator humming softly in the corner. At 68, kidney failure had hollowed her cheeks and dimmed the spark in her blue eyes, but she still managed to smile when Naomi entered. "My girl," Sarah rasped, reaching for the mug with trembling hands. "You didn't have to. Dinner can wait." Naomi set the tea on the side table and perched on the bed's edge, adjusting the quilt with the care of a daughter-in-law who'd long ago earned her place in the family. "Nonsense. The roast is in the oven. Your recipe, with the rosemary you love. Nicholas will be home soon. He texted he's just wrapping up a site visit." Sarah's eyes sharpened, a flicker of the shrewd widow who'd raised a son single-handed after her husband's accident on a scaffold 20 years back. "That boy, always wrapping up something. You deserve more than microwave mysteries, Naomi." Naomi waved it off, forcing a laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes. "He's building our future, Sarah. The expansion in the city, it'll mean stability. For all of us." She glanced at the calendar pinned to the wall, red-circled dates marking dialysis runs and the upcoming transplant evaluation. Her name was at the top. Naomi, donor match confirmed. Surgery, October 15. It had started 6 months ago, after Sarah's nephrologist delivered the verdict. End-stage renal disease, dialysis a bridge too shaky for long-term. Naomi had volunteered without hesitation, blood tests, cross-matches, the endless consultations, all while juggling her part-time graphic design gigs from the home office Nicholas had built her in the garage. "It's what family does," she told him that night, curled against his chest in their king-sized bed, his arm heavy around her waist. He'd kissed her forehead, murmured, "You're a saint, Nay. I don't deserve you." She believed him then. Still wanted to. The front door clicked open downstairs, followed by the thud of Nicholas's briefcase hitting the hall table. "Babe? Mom? Smells like heaven in here." Naomi rose, smoothing her apron, floral cotton, a thrift find from their early days, and met him in the kitchen. Nicholas Hale, 36 and built like the construction sites he once commanded, filled the doorway with his broad shoulders and easy grin. His dark hair was tousled from the wind, tie loosened, the faint scent of sawdust, and something sharper, cologne, perfume, clinging to his shirt. "Hey you," he said, pulling her into a hug that lifted her off her feet. His lips brushed hers, warm and familiar, sparking that old flutter in her belly. "Missed you today." "Missed you too," she murmured, inhaling him. The man she'd fallen for at a community art fair, where he'd bought her watercolor sketch of a Brooklyn bridge at dusk for $20 he couldn't spare. They'd bonded over cheap beer and dreams. Her illustrations in galleries. His firm going national. Marriage after a whirlwind year. A cozy fixer-upper in Westchester. Sarah's approval sealing it all that he released her, sniffing the air. Roast? You're spoiling us. Only the best for my boys. She plated the food. Carved beef pink and juicy. Potatoes roasted crisp, while he poured wine, red for him, white for her. They ate at the Nook, Sarah joining them with her tray balanced on a rolling cart, the three of them falling into easy rhythm. Nicholas regaling them with tales of the downtown high-rise. Bidding more, we landed it. Sarah teasing his big shot, ways. Naomi laughing at the right moments. Her fork tracing patterns in her mash. But beneath the clink of silverware, fissures showed. Nicholas's phone buzzed twice during grace. Texts he silenced with a sheepish grin. Clients. Never off the clock. Sarah watched him over her glasses. Some things should be off limits, son. Like family dinner. He winked at Naomi. Mom's right. Phone's away. But his eyes darted to the screen when it lit again, a flush creeping up his neck. After dessert. Apple crumble, Sarah's recipe. Naomi cleared plates while Nicholas helped Sarah back to bed, their voices low in the hall. Proud of you, kiddo. Naomi's a keeper. Don't forget that. Never, Mom. His tone was light, but Naomi caught the edge, like a beam creaking under unseen weight. Later, in their bedroom, walls painted the sage green she'd chosen, bed piled with quilts from their honeymoon road trip. Naomi slipped into her nightgown, the soft cotton brushing her skin like a sigh. Nicholas emerged from the shower, towel low on his hips, water beating on his chest. He caught her watching, that grin flashing. Like what you see, Mrs. Hale? She pulled him down, their laughter mingling as sheets tangled. Lovemaking followed, slow, familiar, his hands mapping her like blueprints he knew by heart. I love you, Nay, he whispered into her neck, breath hot. Through all this, the surgery mom stuff, you're my rock. And you're mine, she replied, holding him close, ignoring the faint ache in her side from pre-op nerves. In his arms, the world narrowed to just them. The boy who'd promised forever under fireflies, the girl who'd believed him. But as he drifted to sleep, phone charging on the nightstand, the screen glowed once more. A notification, Adana, tonight was magic. When next? Naomi blinked in the dark, heart stuttering. Adana who? A client? Colleague. She reached for it, thumb hovering, but pulled back. Paranoia, she chided herself. Stress from the transplant. She turned away, curling into Nicholas's warmth, willing sleep to come. It didn't. The weeks blurred into a frenzy of prep. Naomi met with surgeons at Mount Sinai. Dr. Patel, a kind-eyed woman with a no-nonsense bob, explaining the laparoscopic procedure. Small incisions, quick recovery, her left kidney strong enough to sustain both. Emotionally, it's tougher, Dr. Patel warned during the psych eval. Donating to family, especially in-laws, carries weight. Any strains at home? Naomi hesitated, then shook her head. We're solid. Nicholas was there for every appointment, holding her hand through the 4 simulations, cracking jokes about matching scars with Sarah. You'll be twinsies, Mom, nephron buddies. Sarah swatted him weakly, but her eyes shone with gratitude. Naomi, if anything happens, nothing will. Naomi cut in, squeezing her hand. This is us. Family. Evenings brought quiet rituals. Naomi sketching donor awareness posters for the hospital lobby. Nicholas rubbing her feet after long days. Sarah sharing stories of his childhood. Mischief with toy hard hats. The day he built her a birdhouse after Dad died. He was always fixing things, Sarah said one night, her voice fading as meds kicked in. Just needs reminding what needs fixing most. Naomi nodded, glancing at Nicholas dozing on the couch, phone silent for once. She loved him fiercely, their shared glances over Sarah's hospital bed, the way he'd surprise her with tulips from the corner bodega, petals bruised but earnest. Doubts lingered, though, the extra cologne, the networking trips to the city, the way his hugs felt briefer, like he was already halfway out the door. The night before surgery, they lay awake, rain pattering against the window like impatient fingers. Nicholas traced her scar line to be gentle. Scared, terrified, she admitted. But for her, worth it. He kissed her deeply, passion flaring like it hadn't in months. After this, vacation. Just us. Maui. Remember our honeymoon, snorkeling, sunsets. Promise. She smiled, clinging to the vision. Promise. His phone buzzed on the dresser. Ignored. Finally, dawn came too soon. The hospital admission was a whirl. Paperwork in triplicate, nurses in cheerful scrubs. Sarah wheeled in beside her for parallel prep. My hero, Sarah whispered, tears tracking into her hairnet. Nicholas will be here soon. Traffic, you know him. Naomi nodded, for line cold in her arm. The anesthesiologist's voice a distant hum. Count back from 10, 9, 8. The world blurred to black. She surfaced slowly, throat raw from the tube, monitors beeping a steady rhythm. Pain throbbed low in her side, muffled by morphine. But the room swam into focus. Sarah's bed empty beside hers. Transferred to ICU already, a nurse had said. Family filtered in. Clara, her sister from upstate, bearing balloons. Nicholas's cousin Mark, awkward with fruit baskets. Where was he? The door swung open. Laughter, feminine, light, preceded them. Nicholas strode in, arm looped through a woman's. Tall, auburn waves cascading over a cashmere sweater, green eyes sharp as emeralds. Adana, Naomi's mind supplied unbidden. The name from that text, face from a half-remembered company photo Nicholas had shown once. New project manager. Naomi. Nicholas beamed, leaning to kiss her forehead, his cologne overpowering the antiseptic sting. You did it. Mom's stable. Docs say it's a perfect match. The woman, Adana, hung back, smile sympathetic but edged. Congratulations. So brave. Naomi's mouth went dry, the morphine haze sharpening to a blade. Nicholas, who's this? He straightened, gesturing grandly. Adana. My partner on the downtown project. Thought she'd come. Moral support, you know. Partner. The word landed like a scalpel. Adana stepped forward, hand extended. Pleasure. Nicholas has told me so much about you. The rock of the family. Naomi stared at the hand, manicured, unscarred, then up at Nicholas, whose grin faltered under her gaze. The beeps accelerated. Pain flared, not just from the incision. What project had he built in the shadows while she gave everything? Naomi's world just shattered. Would you confront him right there, or play it cool? Drop your move in the comments, like if this twist gutted you. The recovery room smelled of antiseptic and stale coffee, the kind nurses brewed in the break room at 3 a.m. to stay awake through the graveyard shift. Naomi's world narrowed to the steady beep of the monitor beside her bed, each pulse a reminder that her body had just given away a piece of itself. Pain radiated from the small incisions along her left side, for tiny ports where the laparoscopic tools had slipped in and out like thieves in the night. But the morphine drip dulled it to a distant throb. She blinked against the fluorescent lights, trying to focus. Sarah was already in ICU, stable according to the nurse who'd checked her vitals 10 minutes ago. Your mother-in-law's numbers are excellent, the woman had said, patting Naomi's hand. The kidneys functioning beautifully. You're both lucky. Lucky. The word tasted like metal in Naomi's mouth. Nicholas stood at the foot of her bed, still in his suit pants and the blue button-down he'd worn that morning when he'd kissed her goodbye in pre-op, promising to be right there when she woke. His arm was looped through Adana's, casual as if they were strolling a gallery opening instead of a surgical ward. Adana's auburn waves caught the overhead light, her cashmere sweater the color of fresh cream, her smile practiced and bright. Like she belonged here, Naomi's throat worked around the dryness from the breathing tube. Nicholas, he stepped forward, grin wide and proud. Hey, hero. You did it. Mom's already asking for you. Well, as much as she can with the vent still in. Docs say it's textbook perfect. Adana squeezed his arm, tilting her head. So brave. I can't imagine going through that for anyone. You must be exhausted. Naomi stared at their joined hands, Nicholas's wedding band glinting against Adana's manicured fingers. The morphine made everything soft at the edges, but this cut clean through. Who are you? Naomi asked again, slower this time. Each word deliberate. Nicholas's smile flickered, then steadied, like a bulb about to burn out. This is Adana, my colleague, from the downtown project. She wanted to come show support. Thought it'd be nice for you to meet someone from the team. Adana extended her free hand. We've actually met, sort of, at the holiday party last year. I was the one who spilled red wine on your dress. So sorry again. It was mortifying. Naomi didn't take the hand. She looked at Nicholas, searching his face for the man who'd held her last night, who'd whispered, "I love you," into her hair as the rain tapped the window. "Colleague," she repeated. He shifted his weight. "Yeah, project manager. She's been instrumental. Really turned the presentation around." The room felt smaller, the beeps louder. Naomi's sister Clara, who'd been dozing in the chair by the window, sat up abruptly. "Nicholas, what the hell is this?" Nicholas's jaw tightened. "Clara, not now. Naomi just woke up." Clara stood, arms crossed. She just woke up to her husband walking in with another woman on his arm. "Explain." Adana's smile didn't waver, but her eyes flicked to Nicholas, expectant, almost amused. Nicholas exhaled through his nose, then looked down at Naomi. "Okay, fine." Cards on the table. He released Adana's arm, stepping closer to the bed rail. "Adana and we've been seeing each other. For a while. I didn't want to tell you until after the surgery, didn't want to stress you out. But I figured, transparency now. You deserve that." Naomi felt the words land like stones in her stomach, heavy and cold. "A while," she echoed. "6 months," Adana supplied helpfully, voice sweet as artificial sweetener. "We didn't plan it. It just happened. Chemistry, you know." Clara made a strangled sound. "You brought your side piece to the hospital? While my sister is literally cut open for your mother." Nicholas winced. "She's not. Clara, don't make this dramatic. I'm still here for Naomi. For Mom. I'm not abandoning anyone." Naomi's laugh was small, brittle, barely audible over the monitor. "You're here. With her." He reached for her hand. She pulled it back under the thin hospital blanket. "Nay, listen. I love you. I do. But things, they changed. You've been so focused on Mom, on the house, on everything being perfect. Adana, she sees me. The pressure, the stress. She doesn't ask me to be the fixer all the time." Adana nodded, stepping closer. "He's been carrying so much. You've been amazing with Sarah. Donating a kidney? That's incredible. But Nicholas needs someone who can match his energy, not weigh him down with expectations." Naomi's vision blurred, not from tears, not yet, but from the sheer force of what was happening. 6 months. While she'd been driving Sarah to dialysis 3 times a week, researching transplant diets, sketching get-well cards for the kids at the hospital art therapy program she volunteered for, Nicholas had been with Adana. The door opened again. A nurse entered with a clipboard. "Vitals check. Everyone but immediate family needs to step out, please." Adana glanced at Nicholas. "I'll wait in the hall. Take your time." She slipped out, heels clicking down the corridor like tiny gunshots. Nicholas stayed, leaning over the rail. "Nay, I'm not leaving you. Not like that. We can figure this out. Counseling, maybe. After Mom's stable. I needed to be honest." Naomi looked at him, really looked. The man she'd married at 25 in a simple white dress under fairy lights. The man who'd cried when Sarah's diagnosis came down. The man who'd promised in sickness and in health, with tears in his eyes. "You brought her here," she said quietly. "To my recovery room. On the day I gave your mother my kidney." His face crumpled. I thought you'd understand. That we could be adults about it." Clara stepped forward. "Get out." Nicholas looked at Naomi, pleading. "Nay, get out." Clara repeated, voice steeled. He hesitated, then nodded once. "I'll be back later. When things calm down." He leaned in to kiss her forehead. She turned her face away. His lips brushed her hair instead. "I love you," he whispered. Then he was gone. The nurse finished her checks in awkward silence, glancing between the sisters. "I'll give you some privacy." When the door closed, Clara sank onto the bed's edge, taking Naomi's hand. "Breathe, sis. Just breathe." Naomi stared at the ceiling tiles, counting the perforations like sheep. 1, 2, 3, 6 months. The pain in her side was nothing compared to the one blooming behind her ribs, sharp, hot, spreading like ink in water. She didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, something colder uncoiled in her chest. Not rage, not the screaming, throwing things kind. Something quieter, sharper. She thought of Sarah in ICU, tubes and monitors keeping her alive because of the kidney now working inside her. She thought of the vows she'd made, not just to Nicholas, but to family, to loyalty, to love that didn't come with conditions. And she thought of Adana's smile, confident, victorious. Naomi closed her eyes. When she opened them again, the morphine haze had cleared just enough for clarity. She reached for her phone on the bedside table. Nicholas had left it charging. The lock screen showed their wedding photo. Her in white, him in a gray suit, both laughing like the world was theirs. She unlocked it. Messages. Dozens, from Adana to Nicholas, time-stamped over the last week. Adana, can't wait to see you tonight. Wear the blue tie. I love how it brings out your eyes. Adana, tell her yet? We deserve to stop hiding. Adana, after the surgery, we can finally plan our trip. Bali. Just us. Naomi scrolled further. Photos. Them at rooftop bars. Her head on his shoulder. His hand on her thigh under a table. She didn't flinch. She forwarded the entire thread to herself, then deleted the evidence from his phone. Clean. Professional. Clara watched, eyes wide. What are you doing? Naomi set the phone down. Protecting what's mine. Her voice was calm. Too calm. Clara swallowed. You're going to divorce him? Not yet. Naomi's gaze drifted to the window, where the late afternoon sun slanted across the parking lot. First I heal. Then, I decide what stays and what goes. She thought of the joint accounts. The house title in both names. Sarah's trust fund, managed by Nicholas, but with Naomi as co-trustee since last year's paperwork. The life insurance policies. The company shares she'd quietly acquired as gifts over the years. She thought of the prenup Nicholas had laughed off signing. We don't need that, nay. Forever's forever. Forever had lasted 6 months of secrets that a new nurse entered with a fresh 4-bag. Pain level. Manageable, Naomi said. The nurse adjusted the drip. You're doing great. Rest. When she left, Clara leaned in. What's the plan? Naomi looked at her sister. Fierce, loyal, the one who'd driven through blizzards to be here today. The plan, Naomi said softly, is to let him think he's won. For now. She closed her eyes again, letting the morphine pull her under. But beneath the haze, a spark flickered. Not destruction, precision. When she woke again, hours later, the room was dim. Clara slept in the chair, phone in her lap. That Naomi's phone buzzed. Nicholas, I'm sorry. I messed up the delivery. I love you. I'll fix this. Promise. She stared at the message, then typed one word. Naomi. Okay. She hit send. Let him think she was breaking. Let him think she was weak. Let him come back tomorrow with flowers and apologies and Adana on speed dial. Because when the time came, when Sarah was strong enough, when Naomi's body had healed enough, she would show him exactly what okay really meant. The monitor beeped on, steady as a heartbeat. Steady as revenge. Naomi just played the long game. Would you hit back immediately or wait like she is? Drop your revenge style in the comments. Smash like if this betrayal has you raging, and subscribe so you don't miss it. The hospital room felt like a pressure cooker by morning. Sterile walls closing in, the air thick with the scent of iodine and unspoken accusations. Naomi shifted gingerly against the pillows, each movement sending a fresh wave of fire through her side, where the incisions pulled like taut wires. The morphine had worn off enough for reality to sharpen. The foredrip beeping its monotonous rhythm. Clara dozing in the recliner with a blanket pulled to her chin, and the ghost of Adana's perfume lingering like a bad aftertaste. Naomi hadn't slept. Every time her eyes drifted shut, flashes replayed. Nicholas's arm around Adana's waist, the casual partner label, the way he'd said, I love you, like it was a consolation prize. She'd stared at the ceiling instead, mind racing through logistics, the house deed, the savings accounts, Sarah's medical power of attorney she'd signed as co-guardian last spring. Revenge wasn't a scream. It was a spreadsheet, and Naomi had always been good with numbers. Clara stirred as the breakfast tray rattled in. A sad affair of jello and weak tea. Morning, warrior. How's the pain? Like I donated a rib too, Naomi quipped, voice hoarse but steady. She poked at the jello, watching it wobble. Any word from downstairs? Clara's face darkened. Sarah's out of ICU, transferred to a step-down unit. Docs say the kidney's filtering like a champ. But Nicholas, he was here at dawn, pacing the hall like a caged lion. Wouldn't come in after last night. Naomi nodded, unsurprised. Let him pace. Her phone buzzed on the tray table. Nicholas, again. She ignored it, opening her email instead. A message from her lawyer, Karen, who'd handled their closing on the house 3 years ago. Subject, quick consult. Naomi typed a reply. Urgent. Prenup implications, if separation. Discreet. Sent. Clara raised an eyebrow. Plotting already? Not plotting, Naomi said, though the word thrilled her secretly. Protecting. The door opened before Clara could respond. A nurse wheeled in Sarah, pale but alert, hooked to a portable monitor, her hospital gown loose over the fresh surgical site. Look what the cat dragged in, the nurse said cheerfully. Mom's got visitors. Sarah's eyes lit on Naomi immediately, filling with tears. Oh, my girl. The bed locked into place beside Naomi's, and Sarah reached out, their fingers intertwining, scarred hands meeting, a silent pact forged in operating rooms and waiting lobbies. You shouldn't be up, Naomi whispered, squeezing back. For you? I'd run a marathon. Sarah's voice was thready, but her grip was iron. She glanced at Clara. Out with it. Where's my son? Clara hesitated, looking to Naomi. Naomi nodded once. He's with someone. Adana. From work. Sarah's face drained of color, worse than any post-op pallor. Adana? That project girl. The one with the red hair and the laugh like breaking glass. Naomi's stomach twisted. You know her? Sarah deflated against her pillows. He brought her to the house once. Last month. Said she was team building. I smelled the lies then. His shirt untucked, her perfume on the couch. But I didn't say, not with the transplant looming. Thought he'd come to his senses. The room fell silent, save for the dual beeps of their monitors sinking like reluctant heartbeats. Naomi felt the betrayal deepen, roots twisting into family soil she'd thought solid. Why didn't you tell me? Sarah's eyes glistened. Because you're the best thing that ever happened to him, Naomi. Pure heart. I watched you two at the altar, him looking at you like you hung the moon. If I stirred the pot, I was afraid it'd tip everything over. Especially with my situation. Naomi swallowed hard. You mean the kidney? Sarah nodded. Guilt's a heavy chain. I didn't want you thinking I was using it. But now, God, now he's paraded her here? On this day? Clara piped up. He called her his partner. Like it's casual. Sarah's jaw set, a spark of the steel that had raised Nicholas alone flashing through. Partner. Huh. I've got a few words for that boy. She hit the call button, voice gaining strength. Nurse? I need my phone. Now. The nurse bustled in, handing over Sarah's device with a wary glance. Sarah scrolled contacts, dialing Nicholas on speaker. The ring echoed. Once, twice. Then his voice harried. Mom? You're up, how do you feel? Like a fool for raising a fool. Sarah snapped. Where are you? And don't lie to me. Nicholas Hale. A pause, muffled voices in the background. Adana's laugh, sharp as a shard. At the cafeteria. With friends. Friends, Sarah echoed, venom dripping. Naomi woke up to your friend on your arm. Explain yourself. Silence stretched, broken only by the line's hum. Then, Mom, it's complicated. I was going to tell her. Complicated? Sarah's voice rose, monitors spiking in tandem. She gave me her kidney. Nick. Her kidney. While you were playing house with some opportunist who smells like ambition and cheap wine. Get up here. Now. The call ended abruptly. Sarah sagged back, breathing labored. Naomi hit her own call button. A doctor rushed in, adjusting oxygen flows and meds. When the room quieted, Sarah gripped Naomi's hand again. I'm sorry, sweetheart. For him. For all of it. Naomi shook her head, tears pricking now. You didn't do this. He did. Flashbacks crept in unbidden. Their first anniversary, Nicholas surprising her with a weekend at the cabin, snow falling as they slow danced to an old radio. You're my home, nay, he'd said, nuzzling her neck. Or the night Sarah's diagnosis hit, him collapsing into her lap, sobbing, I can't lose her. I can't lose you. She'd held him through it, whispering promises, her love a lighthouse in his storm. Now the light felt dimmed, the beam bent by deceit. Her phone buzzed. Karen, prenup week on infidelity clause. But joint assets? We can freeze. Meet tomorrow, Naomi typed. Yes. And dig into Adana. Background, connections. Revenge wasn't blind fury. It was informed strikes at BY afternoon. Nicholas arrived, disheveled, eyes bloodshot, a bouquet of wilting daisies in hand. Adana was nowhere in sight. He hovered in the doorway, glancing between the beds like a man entering a courtroom. Mom. Nay. He set the flowers on Naomi's tray, hands shoving into pockets. I'm sorry about the timing. I panicked. Thought if I brought her, it'd force the truth out. Sarah snorted. Truth? You mean your cowardice? Nicholas flinched. Mom, please. I love Naomi. This, Adana, it's not serious. Just a distraction. Work stress, the transplant pressure. I got lost. Naomi watched him, expression neutral. Lost for 6 months. He knelt by her bed, voice low. Nay, forgive me. I ended it last night, texted her to back off. She was pushy, that's all. Let me make this right. Flowers, dinner when you're out, whatever. Sarah interjected. You think flowers fix this? After she saved my life? I know. He looked up, eyes pleading. But Naomi's strong. We're strong. Remember our pact? Through sickness. This is the sickness part. Naomi's hand twitched toward his, then stilled. Flashback. Their wedding. Rain turning the backyard to mud. Him carrying her over puddles, laughing. Sickness and health. Mud and all. She pulled the blanket higher. Go home, Nicholas. Sleep on it. He lingered, then nodded. I'll be back tonight. With real food. No jello. He kissed her knuckles lightly, then Sarah's forehead, and left. Sarah waited until the door clicked. Don't let him off easy. I won't. Naomi's phone vibrated. A social media alert. She opened it, stomach dropping. Adana's Instagram story. A selfie in a coffee shop. Caption navigating family drama today. Grateful for my rock hashtag new beginnings hashtag support system. Tagged at the hospital, with a heart emoji over Nicholas's profile. Comments flooded. Slay queen. He's lucky to have you. Naomi's blood boiled. Clara saw her face. What? Her. Naomi screenshotted it, forwarding to Karen. Slander potential? Karen. Yes. Cease and desist incoming. Naomi's own socials pinged. Friends from her design group. Saw the story. You okay? Nicholas with her? WTF? She posted nothing. Silence was her blade. Evening brought more tension. Nicholas returned with takeout, Thai from their favorite spot, Pad CEW steaming in foam containers. He unpacked it carefully, avoiding Sarah's glare. For when you're up to solids, Mom. Nay, broth for you. Sarah waved it away. I'm not hungry for your guilt trips. Mom, save it. Sarah adjusted her oxygen mask. You know why this hurts so bad? Because I see me in you. After your father died, I dated, briefly. A contractor, thought he was steady. Turned out he was married. Lied for months. I felt like that fool again, watching you parade her in here. Nicholas paled. Mom, that's not. It is. Sarah's voice cracked. Naomi's given everything. Her body, her time, her heart. And you spit on it. He turned to Naomi, desperate. Nay, tell her. Tell her we're worth saving. Naomi sipped the broth. Warm, salty, tasting like ashes. I don't know what we're worth anymore. He deflated, packing the food away. I'll give you space. But I'm not giving up. Alone again, Naomi and Sarah shared a look. Mother and daughter in all but blood. You're angry, Sarah said quietly. Furious. Naomi's voice was a whisper. But not at you. At him. At her. For thinking she could waltz in and claim what's mine. Sarah nodded. Channel it. Don't let it consume you. Naomi's phone buzzed. Karen. Assets review started. Adana's got a history. 2 prior affairs with bosses. Leverage. A knock. Soft. Hesitant. Clara checked the peephole. It's her. Adana. Naomi's pulse spiked. Let her in. The door opened. Adana stood there, makeup flawless, a gift bag dangling from one wrist. I just wanted to apologize. For the awkwardness. Sarah bristled. Awkwardness. Adana ignored her, eyes on Naomi. Nicholas is torn up. He cares about you, both of you. But we didn't mean to blindside. Can we talk? Woman to woman. Naomi met her gaze, the spark in her chest flaring to flame. Come in. Adana stepped forward, closing the door behind her. The air crackled. What venom would spill next, and how sharp would Naomi's reply cut? Adana at the door. Bold or stupid? Comment your take on her apology. Like if Naomi's about to unleash, and subscribe for Act 4's no-holds-barred showdown. Almost equals 2,000 words for Act 3. Adana stepped into the hospital room like she owned the corridors, heels muffled on the linoleum, but her presence loud as a siren. The gift bag swung from her wrist, tissue paper rustling with whatever peace offering she'd packaged. Chocolates, maybe, or a spa voucher, something to soothe the sting of her intrusion. Her green eyes swept the space. Naomi's bed, Sarah's, Clara's wary stance by the door, landing on Naomi with a mix of contrition and calculation. like a chess player assessing a queen's gambit. "Hi," Adana said, voice pitched low, almost conspiratorial. "I know this is not ideal, but I couldn't leave it hanging. Not after yesterday." She set the bag on the tray table, pulling out a small box of artisanal truffles, dark chocolate, sea salt flecked, the kind Naomi had once raved about during a girls' night years ago. Peace offering. From one woman to another. Sarah's monitor beeped a protest, her hand tightening on Naomi's under the blanket. Clara crossed her arms, blocking the path to the beds like a human barricade. "You shouldn't be here." Anna ignored her, perching on the edge of the visitor's chair uninvited. "Nicholas is a mess. Pacing outside. Won't come in until I clear the air. He thinks you're furious, and you have every right. But I wanted you to hear it from me. I never meant to hurt you. Or Sarah." Her gaze flicked to the older woman, softening artificially. "What you did, donating like that. It's heroic. I'm in awe." Naomi watched her, the morphine fog from earlier fully lifted, leaving her mind razor-sharp. Adana's sweater hugged her frame just so, her makeup flawless even under hospital fluorescence. A woman who weaponized poise. But Naomi saw the tells, the slight tremor in her fingers as she folded the tissue, the way her eyes darted to the door every 10 seconds, waiting for Nicholas's cue. "You're in awe," Naomi repeated, voice even, almost curious. She shifted slightly, wincing at the pull in her side, but refusing to let it show. "That's why you posted that story? Tagging the hospital, calling him your rock, while I'm hooked to machines." Adana's smile faltered, then recovered. "That was impulsive. Heat of the moment. Friends were asking questions, after the scene yesterday. I didn't think it'd blow up." Sarah snorted softly. "It blew up because it's tacky. And cruel." Adana leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice dropping to that intimate register women use in powder rooms. "Look, Naomi, can I call you that? We're not enemies. Nicholas loves you. But he's suffocating. The house, the caregiving, the endless worry about me. Sarah, he's drowning. I gave him air. Space. Not because I hate what you have, but because he needed it." Clara stepped closer. "Needed it? Or wanted it? Get out." But Naomi held up a hand, stilling her sister. She met Adana's eyes, green on brown, ambition on ache, and felt the spark from last night ignite fully. Not wildfire, but controlled burn. "Air," she echoed. "Like the kind you breathe in hotel lobbies after late meetings? Or the kind that comes with weekend getaways he told me were client retreats?" Adana's composure cracked. A micro fissure, quickly sealed with a laugh. "He told you?" "No." Naomi's tone was silk over steel. "I found the receipts. The ones he forgot to delete. The spa in the Hamptons. The vineyard dinner for two. 6 months worth of air." The room went still. Sarah's breathing hitched, Clara's fists clenched. Adana sat back, color draining from her cheeks. "That's private." "Private," Naomi said, "until you made it public. Tagging him. Posing like the savior. You didn't just take my husband. You tried to erase me. While I was planning menus to keep Sarah strong enough for surgery. While I was learning about rejection meds and follow-ups. You posted sunsets and sangria, and I was here, holding his hand through the waitlist calls." Adana's eyes hardened, the contrition evaporating. "You think you're the martyr? I saw the photos, your perfect life. But he called me at 2 a.m., Naomi, crying about the pressure, saying you never touched him anymore, that the bed felt like a boardroom. I didn't steal him. He ran to me." Sarah gasped, hand to her chest. "Enough. Get out of my sight." But Naomi leaned forward, ignoring the stab in her side, voice low and lethal. "Ran? Or chased? I know your type, Adana. The project manager, who manages more than timelines. 2 bosses before him. Did you know I had Karen pull your records? Affairs that ended careers. Not yours, though. You always land soft." Adana shot to her feet, bag forgotten. "You spied? That's low, even for low." Naomi's laugh was sharp now, echoing off the tiles. "You waltzed into my recovery room with my husband on your arm. Posted your support, like a victory lap. Low is your brand." The door burst open before Adana could retort. Nicholas stormed in, face thunderous. "What the hell is going on?" I heard shouting from the hall. Adana whirled on him. "She's threatening me. Digging into my past." Nicholas's eyes widened, flicking to Naomi. "Nay." Naomi met his gaze, unflinching. "Truth hurts, doesn't it? Like waking up to your partner, After I gave your mother my kidney. He paled, stepping between them. Adana, go. Now. She gaped. What? After everything, go. His voice cracked like a whip. Adana snatched her bag, shooting Naomi a venomous look, and stormed out, heels echoing fury. The door slammed. Silence crashed in. Nicholas turned to Naomi, hands raised like a supplicant. Nay, Sarah cut him off, voice weak but fierce. Sit. And talk. No more lies. He collapsed into the chair, head in hands. Clara hovered, protective, but Naomi nodded her on. Let him unravel. It started small. Nicholas began, voice muffled. The project, late nights at the office. Adana. She listened, laughed at my jokes, made me feel seen. Not the guy failing his mom, or the husband too tired to touch his wife. Just me. Naomi's throat tightened. And me? What was I? He looked up, eyes red. You were everything. Too much, maybe. Holding us all up. I resented it. God, I resented how easy it was for you to give. The kidney, the meals, the endless grace. Adana took. Demanded. It felt exciting. Sarah reached for his hand. Son, that's not love. That's escape. I know. Tears spilled now, hot and unashamed. I see it now. Her posts. I told her to take them down. She wouldn't, said it'd humanize us. But it's poison. And the job. Mom, your call to the board this morning? They're pulling my lead on the downtown build. Say I'm distracted. Adana's spreading rumors, saying I'm unstable. It's all crumbling because of me. Naomi watched him break, the man she'd loved fracturing before her. Flashback, their first fight, post-honeymoon, over his overtime. He'd knelt in the kitchen, sobbing, Don't leave, Nay. I'll change. She'd forgiven then, pulling him close. Now it felt like echoes. You offered divorce papers, she said quietly. In your drawer at home. I found them last month. Dated. Signed by you. He froze. Nay, why? Her voice trembled, the dam cracking. Why wasn't I enough? You were. He crawled to the bed's edge, gripping the rail. Too much. I panicked. Thought if I had an out, ready, it'd make the guilt easier. But I couldn't serve them. Couldn't leave you. Or Mom. Adana pushed. Cut the cord, she said. But I couldn't. Sarah squeezed Naomi's hand. He's scared, sweetheart. Of losing you both. Of being the man who breaks his family. Naomi's tears came then. Hot, silent rivers down her cheeks. You broke me, Nicholas. In that room, with her smile. I gave everything. My body, my trust. And you gave me lies. He bowed his head, sobs racking him. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. Take the house. The accounts. Kick me out. But please, don't hate me. Clara slipped out, murmuring, I'll give you space. Sarah nodded weakly, eyes pleading. Naomi looked at him, broken, raw, the boy she'd married peeking through the cracks. The spark of revenge flickered, tempted to fan to flame. She could expose him, email the threads to his board, post the screenshots, watch Adana's world burn with his. But beneath the fury, love lingered, stubborn, scarred. I don't hate you, she whispered. I want to. It'd be easier. But I see you. The scared boy who lost his dad young. Who built walls after. Who ran when the pressure crushed. He looked up, hope dawning through tears. Nay. She reached out, tentative, her fingers brushing his. But seeing isn't forgiving. Not yet. You want redemption? Earn it. End her, for good. Publicly. And fight for us. Therapy. Transparency. No more escapes. I will, he vowed, clutching her hand like a lifeline. Everything. I swear. Sarah mediated softly, her voice a bridge. Start with truth, son. All of it. No holding back. He nodded, pulling out his phone. With trembling fingers, he drafted a text to Adana. It's over. For real. Don't contact me or Naomi. Ever. Sent. Then, an email to HR, requesting leave. Personal matters. CC'd to the board. Naomi watched, the weight lifting fractionally. He leaned in, forehead to hers, tears mingling, breath sinking. I love you, he murmured. Always have. Forgive me. Not today, she said, but her grip tightened. But maybe tomorrow. He kissed her knuckles, soft as a promise. Sarah smiled faintly, monitors steadying. That's my family. As dusk fell, casting long shadows across the beds, Nicholas stayed, holding Naomi's hand through the night shift, whispering apologies into the quiet. But outside, in the hall, Adana lurked, phone in hand, recording their voices through the door crack. Her eyes gleamed with malice. What poison would she unleash next to claw back her hold? Forgiveness on the horizon, but Adana's lurking, threat or bluff? Comment. Would Naomi trust Nicholas's turnaround, or wait for more proof? Like if this emotional roller coaster has you hooked, and subscribe for Act 5's ultimate redemption. Almost equals 2,000 words for Act 4. The hospital discharged Naomi and Sarah 3 days later. A tandem release, wheelchairs rolling side by side down the echoing corridors like victors in a quiet parade. Naomi's incisions itched under the bandages, a constant reminder of the peace she'd given, but the pain had dulled to a manageable ache, overshadowed by the deeper mending underway. Nicholas pushed Sarah's chair, his face gaunt from sleepless nights on the vinyl recliner, while Clara trailed with bags of prescriptions and get-well cards from the nurses. Adana's shadow lingered. Her recording leaked anonymously to a gossip site by evening. A blurry audio clip of Nicholas's sobs captioned "Billionaire Builder's Breakdown." Affair exposed? But Naomi refused to engage. Let the vultures circle. Her focus was inward. Home was a sanctuary rebuilt brick by brick. The suburban house smelled of fresh linens and the faint citrus of the cleaning service Nicholas had hired. Discreet, thorough, erasing any trace of Adana's hypothetical visits. He carried Sarah upstairs to her room, now upgraded with a hospital bed and railing, while Naomi settled on the couch with a heating pad and a stack of design sketches she'd started in the hospital. Abstract kidneys blooming into hearts, symbols for a donor awareness campaign. Nicholas returned, kneeling before her with a glass of chamomile, Sarah's brew, handed off with a knowing wink. For the hero, he said softly, no grin this time, just earnest eyes shadowed by regret. She took it, fingers brushing his. For the survivor. He sat beside her, close but not crowding, the space between them a negotiation in progress. Karen called me. About the assets. I signed the addendum. Everything joint stays joint. No hiding. And HR. Adana's on leave. Indefinite. The board's reviewing her contracts. Naomi sipped the tea, warmth spreading. Good. But that's business. Us, he echoed, pulling a folder from his briefcase. Therapy intake forms, printed and highlighted. First session tomorrow. Couples. And family, mom included, when she's up to it. No more escapes. I blocked her. Changed my number. Told the team she's persona non grata. She studied him, the lines etched deeper around his eyes, the slump in shoulders once squared with ambition. Flashback. Their 3rd anniversary, a rainy picnic in the backyard, him feeding her strawberries, whispering, "You're my foundation, nay. Solid as they come." She'd believed it then, built their life on it. Now, cracks showed, but so did the mortar, forgiveness, if she chose to mix it. I saw the leak, she said quietly. Your voice, breaking. It hurt. But hearing you fight, for us, that healed something. He covered her hand with his. I fought because I almost lost everything. You. Mom. Myself. Adana. She was a mirror, showing me the worst parts. Lazy. Selfish. But you see the best. Even now. Sarah's voice called from upstairs, faint, but insistent. Naomi. A word. Nicholas rose. I'll check on her. He paused at the stairs, looking back. I love you. Actions from here. She nodded. Show me. Upstairs, Sarah's room was a cocoon of monitors and quilts, the window overlooking the maple turning autumn gold. Naomi eased onto the bed's edge, careful of wires. You rang? Sarah patted the space beside her, eyes brighter post-transplant, color returning to her cheeks. Just us girls. He told me about the therapy. Good. But you? How's your heart holding? Naomi traced the quilt's stitching, tiny hearts, a gift from her own mother years ago. Bruised, but beating. Yours, stronger than ever. Sarah touched her side, where Naomi's kidney now hummed. Feels like you in there, steady, giving. Listen, I owe you more than thanks. For saving me. For not letting him off the hook. You raised him, Naomi said. That's half the battle. Sarah chuckled weakly. Stubborn as his father. But you're the grace I never had. After the divorce, I built walls. High ones. You give second chances. Teach him that. Naomi's throat tightened. Doesn't mean it's easy. No, Sarah squeezed her hand. But worth it. Look at him downstairs, cooking your soup recipe, burning the garlic like always. That's love. Messy. Real. They sat in companionable quiet, the house settling around them like a sigh. Downstairs, pots clanged. Nicholas's attempt at healing through food. The first therapy session was in a sunlit office downtown, neutral ground with plants and abstract art that screamed healing space. Dr. Ellis, a no-nonsense therapist with salt and pepper hair and a voice like warm gravel, started with ground rules. No interruptions, full disclosure, tears encouraged. Nicholas went first, hands clasped white-knuckled. I cheated because I felt invisible. The firm growing, Mom's sick, Naomi carrying it all. I was the bystander. Adana made me feel central. Needed. But it was a lie. I needed Naomi. Always have. Dr. Ellis nodded. And you, Naomi? What did that do to your sense of self? Naomi stared at her lap, the scar itching under her shirt. Made me question everything. Was I too much? Not enough? I gave a kidney, part of me, and he gave her. But I see now. It's not about worth. It's about choice. He chose wrong. I'm choosing to see if he can choose right. Sessions blurred into weeks. Raw confessions under fluorescent lights. Nicholas admitting the Hamptons weekend. I cried after she left, hated myself. Naomi voicing the loneliness. Nights alone, wondering if you were coming home or staying gone. Sarah joined once, her wheelchair a throne, sharing her own betrayals. I stayed after Dad's accident. Thought it was duty. Learned too late. Love's a verb, not a sentence. Revenge resolved quietly, justly. Karen's cease and desist landed like a gavel. Adana's post scrubbed. Her HR file sealed with a non-disclosure. Whispers in construction circles painted her as the climber who slipped. Job offers dried up, her LinkedIn gathering digital dust. Nicholas's board cleared him after his leave, impressed by the transparency, the personal growth narrative. No scandal, just consequences. Romance rekindled in stolen moments, tentative as new growth. Nicholas surprised Naomi with a sketchpad and charcoals one evening. The kitchen table cleared for her art. Draw me, he said, shirtless in the lamplight, scars from old site accidents mapping his chest. She did, lines soft at first, then bold, capturing the vulnerability in his eyes. Later, under the covers, his hands traced her incision, reverent, apologetic. This, he whispered, lips to skin, is beautiful. You're beautiful. She arched into him, their lovemaking a slow reclaiming. Breaths sinking, bodies remembering rhythms lost to resentment. I choose you, she murmured against his neck. Every scar. Family therapy wove them tighter. Sarah's stories bridging generations. Your dad and I fought like alley cats, but we fixed the roof together after every storm. Picnics in the backyard followed, blankets spread under the maple, Sarah in a lounger, Nicholas flipping burgers with theatrical flair. No more burnt garlic, he joked, winking at Naomi. She laughed, free, full, and leaned into him, his arm a steady anchor. Fall deep into winter, Naomi's checkups clear, her remaining kidney thriving, Sarah's lab stellar. Adana faded to a footnote. A single email to Nicholas, you'll regret this, ignored and archived. The gossip site retracted the audio clip under legal pressure. Her new beginnings stalled in a one-bedroom walk-up far from Westchester's warmth that on their 9th anniversary. 3 months post-surgery, they renewed vows in the backyard gazebo, string lights twinkling like that rainy wedding day. Just family. Clara officiating with mock seriousness, Sarah beaming from her spot by the fire pit, bundled in quilts. No guests, no fanfare, just them. Nicholas, in a gray suit echoing their first, held Naomi's hands, trembling slightly. I vow anew, in sickness, where I faltered before, I'll stand stronger. No escapes. Only us, building, breaking, mending. I choose you, Naomi. Kidney and all. Tears welled as she slipped the refurbished ring on, her original band, now etched with a tiny heart on the inside. And I choose you, Nicholas. Through deception's dark, to forgiveness's light. We'll scar together, heal together. Family isn't perfect, it's persistent. They kissed under the lights, salt and sweetness mingling, as Clara hooped and Sarah clapped, her laughter the sweetest sound. Later, by the fire, Nicholas pulled Naomi close, his breath warm on her ear. Thank you for seeing me. For fighting. She nestled into him, scar to scar. Thank you for coming home. Sarah raised a glass from her chair. Chamomile, of course. To us. Whole again. The flames danced, casting shadows that no longer loomed. Winter thawed to spring, the maple budding green. Naomi's design sold. A series on resilience. Kidneys as metaphors for love's quiet strength. Nicholas mentored young contractors, sharing lessons from the fall. Sarah gardened again, hands in soil, her second chance blooming literal and figurative point one evening. As fireflies flickered like wedding lights reborn, Naomi and Nicholas danced in the yard, slow, offbeat, her head on his chest. No more running, she whispered. No more, he promised, spinning her gently. Only forward. With you. In the quiet spaces between steps, love whispered its truth. Deception had cracked them, revenge had sharpened them, but forgiveness had forged them anew, stronger, whole. Home. What a journey, from betrayal to unbreakable bonds. If Naomi's grace inspired you, comment. What's your ultimate forgiveness line? Like if family redemption hits home, and subscribe for more tales of love's fierce comebacks. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.